Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Gru's Garage. Today, we're going to take a look at the 2022 Lunar Rock Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport 4x4 four-door long bed. So this is approximately 1 month after owning this and 750 miles traveled, as well as a few light modifications that we've done to this. I wanted to give like an honest perspective and review of my opinion of this truck. I'm coming from a 2011 second gen that I've been driving for 10 years now with the 4.0 5-speed auto. This one is the 3.5 liter 6-speed auto, and there are definitely some differences I wanted to talk about today, as well as a few of these modifications we have done to this truck. So we'll start talking about these modifications so far. I did the body armor front bumper, where you had to cut off the front lower valance area and insert it. This one also has the insert for a 20-inch light bar as well as a winch. I do have a 20-inch rough country LED with the amber light bar, but no winch. And it does include a license plate bracket for those of you who are in states who require it for front ends. It also has recovery points. It is built really nice and solid, and it mounts directly to the frame. The install was relatively easy with only a few hours of work and slight cutting to the truck. Then for the lift, we did a 2-inch coilover setup in the front from Eibach, and then a 1-inch block in the rear. This kit was purchased as a stage 1 kit from Toyota.com, and it also included the extended Eibach shocks for the rear. That was also a very easy install. Most people have done coilovers before, just to slip in and out, relatively easy. This one I did not do a sway bar relocation or a differential drop. The kit, however, did include a diff drop, but I did not see it as needed. The angles aren't that extreme. We are also still on the factory upper control arms with the factory rims, and I have no rub. And speaking of the factory rims, we took off the factory 265, 65, 17 highway tread Toyos that came on it in place for the Falcon Wild Peak ATs. These are 265, 70, 17. So it's almost a 31-inch tire, again on the factory rims with no spacers, with the 2-inch lift. So far I've had no rubbing. This rides very nice and smooth. It's not as stiff as some more aggressive setups, so you might want to consider something different if you're going to be adding full-on plate front bumpers, heavy-duty sliders, a heavy winch, a camper shell, a swing-out rear. If you're going to be adding a lot more weight, you might want something. But I will say, for a lift, this one rides really nice. It's honestly, the smoothness is close to factory, with just a little bit more stiffness noticed in like the turns on the highway. It does. I honestly can't talk good enough about this suspension. It's been on there for about 700 miles now, and I love it. For a bridge between a spacer lift kit that some people would do all the way up to like an actual $3,000 to $4,000 off-road setup, this is like a nice bridge in between with a modest price from a good company. Eibach has been known for the car industry for years now, but they've also been getting into the truck and Jeep industry. Worth checking out. And then for the top, we are running the Prinsu roof rack. This one is not set up for their light bar. I didn't plan on running a rooftop light bar. And it is nice and adjustable because I do have the sunroof on this truck, as well as the sensor package. So there's a little fin sticking up top. There is plenty of adjustment to clear for both of those spots, but still allow adequate mounting points for any of your accessories up top. And then going back down to the sides again, on the side, we have the Barricade HD side steps. Now these ones do have more of an aggressive look for a step bar, but that is all it is. It's purely a step bar. These are not sliders of any kind. They do not mount to the frame. They are a super easy install, purely bolt on, 6 bolts on each side to the vehicle. But again, these ones are just on the bottom side of the door. So if you might be encountering rocks where you need sliders, you definitely do not want these. But for a little bit of a rugged appearance and for family members who'd like a little extra help stepping up in, these are great. And another thing about them is they do stick out enough. So where people in parking lots want to swing their car doors open, if their car door is low enough, it's going to hit that before it hits your paint. And then on the hood, we have the Cali raised low profile LED ditch light mounts with another set of the rough country ditch lights. And then we have on the rear, we have a Cali Rays flag mount and a TRD black exhaust tip that we added. So let's just go ahead and walk around this and see how things look. So far, I honestly have nothing but good things to say about these accessories that I chose. I wanted to go with a relatively mild build on this one, as this is more of a family vehicle. However, I've got a couple miles here on a very light, easy trails, and it's great. It rides smooth, does well. Again, this is the 6-foot bed. It is a very long truck for being mid-size, but I wanted the full 4 doors as well as a long bed. So let's go and take a peek at the inside. All right, we have it opened up now, so let's take a look. This one has the premium package, so it has the leather interior, the upgraded JBL sound system, as well as the sunroof. I will note real quick, there was 2 empty control slots here, and that's where we added our ditch light and light bar mounts. One thing to note about the sunroof, it is enjoyable, however, it does limit the headspace for the rear seat. I'm around 5'11", and when I sit up proper in the back seat, up straight, I probably only have about an inch before my head's touching the sunroof. So anyone that's 6 foot or higher might be a little bit cramped in the back of this. It does have folding seats on each side. This model has a cubby here. It's not that big. That is a medium-sized medical kit I have. We'll probably do a look at that someday. And as well as below, folds up with a little compartment here. However, you cannot sit anything right here. It's not gonna fit. Here we are on the passenger side. Now this one does not have backseat storage here due to the factory subwoofer. There's a little bit of room there, but you're not gonna fit much. Maybe like a jacket or a sweater would be good storage there. And this panel right here is full length. It does have 2 sides to it as far as the lid goes, but it does run full length all the way. It's a 1-piece channel with your factory jack. The passenger side seat is still all manually operated. There is no electronic controls there. However, this does have electric seats for heat, as well as a dual climate adjustment. Typical size glove box. It does have a cell phone charger, the touchless contact style down there built in, which is kind of a neat feature. As well as the JBL touchscreen. It has Apple Play and the Android equivalent. For factory, the sound system does sound relatively nice, but I've noticed for a lot of music, you do have to turn it up pretty high to actually get the levels there. All right, let's take a look under the hood. All right, as we take a look under the hood, we will notice this is a 3.5 liter V6. It has a 6-speed auto transmission. This is nothing new in the world of the 3rd generation Tacoma. However, I am coming from a 2nd generation where I had the 4-liter V6 5-speed auto. This newer 3.5 liter 6-speed auto is listed as a little bit more fuel efficient and a little bit more power overall between torque and horsepower. However, it is definitely a very different feel as far as the power range goes and driving. I will notice the 3.5 liter, you have to really get the RPMs up there for it to feel like it's moving good. It does have a 500 RPM higher red line than the 4 liter. However, the biggest notice is the 4 liter has power, and a feel of torque immediately. I've noticed the 3.5 liter does not. Nor have I honestly noticed any difference in fuel efficiency. Maybe a mile or so per gallon, but nothing else really significant. However, for highway driving, this does feel nicer. The passing at 65 miles an hour on the highway, it does feel a little bit nicer. So my overall opinion on this, if this makes any sense, is the newer trucks, at least this Tacoma, feels like it drives more like a car than a truck, as where the second gen feels more like a truck, if that makes any sense to people. I'm sure there are plenty of third gen or second gen owners that kind of understand that statement. Again, this is a nice feeling smooth vehicle, just different. All right, we'll take a final look here at some of these aftermarket mods. All right, so as mentioned, we have the body armor 4x4 front bumper on this. There's tons of good videos out there on this already. Excuse me. I picked this one up from extremetrain.com. You do have to cut off some of the body part and take off the lower air dam, which I feel like most people do anyways. It does include nice weather stripping to clean up your cut line as well as prevent vibration. Keep in mind with this, if you're going to be off-roading a lot, you might want to cut a larger gap between the bumper to allow for that body flex, because the bumper is mounted direct to the frame. We have the 20-inch light bar inside there from Rough Country. There is a spot for a winch and fair lead up under the license plate bracket that is included. Excuse me. Moving on up here to the Cali raised low profile ditch light mounts. These bolt directly in under the hood to the factory 2 hood bolts. Fit nice and low here. They do not rub, even when the hood is open, with the Rough Country lights. The Barricade HD side steps. Eibach coilover suspension. Then the Falcon Wild Peaks. These are the 265 7017s on the factory wheels. Moving on up to the Prinsu roof rack. This bolts into your existing holes under the weather stripping from factory. And as noted earlier, the adjustment allows for clearance for a sensor package as well as your sunroof. There is a factory Toyota bed mat in here that was added from Toyota. Everyone knows these plastic synthetic beds can be slippery. The rear Eibach shock, as well as the block. I don't plan on hauling a lot of heavy stuff with this, so I didn't want to do an add a leaf or a new plaque. Again, this is just a mild light setup. And then I also ordered from factory as well the black exhaust tip. I just thought it kind of looked clean. If you're doing off-roading and trailing, you're probably not going to want that because it's going to eventually get smashed. They also offer that in chrome for people who'd prefer that with other colored vehicles. So that's just a brief look of the 2022 Toyota Tacoma in the Lunar Rock. Thanks for tuning in to Gru's Garage.